Sundara Kundala Nayana Vishala Sundara Kundala Nayana Vishala Galle Sohebai Jantimala Galle Sohebai Jantimala Yachabiki Balihari Yachabiki Balihari Yachabiki Balihari Yachabiki Balihari Kabu kab luta luta Dari kayo Kabu luta luta Dari kayo Kabu madhuvana Rasa rachayo Kabu madhuvana Nachata Bipina Bihari Nachata Bipina Bihari Nachata Vipina Bihari Nachata Vipina Bihari Jai Madhava Madana Murari Jai Keshava Kalimalahari Radhe Shyam Shama Shyam Radhe Shyam Jai Shama Shyam Jai Madhava Madana Murari Jai Keshava Kalimalahari Chura chura nava nito jokayo Chura chura nava nito jokayo Vrajava nitan be namadarayo Vrajava nitan be namadarayo Makana Chora Murari Makana Chora Murari Makana Chora Murari Makana Chora Murari Radha Jadana Murari Jaya Keshava Kalimalahari Gwala bala sangha denu charai Gwala bala sangha denu charai Vana vana brahmata firya yadurai Vana vana brahmata shivir yadurai Kande kamara kari Kande kamara kari Jai Madhava Madana Murari Jaya Keshava Kalimalahari Oh, Radhe Shyam Shama Shyam Radhe Shyam Jai Shama Shyam Oh Radhe Shyam Shama Shyam Radhe Shyam Shama Shyam Jai Madhava Madana Murari Jai Keshava Kalimala Hari Ekadinaman Indra Komaryo Ekadinaman Indra Komaryo Naka Upar Gover Danadaryo Naka Upar Gover Danadaryo Nama Paryo Giridhari Nama Paryo Giridhari Nama Paryo Giridhari Oh Nama Paryo Giridhari Nama Paryo Giridhari Jai Madhava Madana Murari Jai Keshava Kalimala Hari Duryodhanaga Bhoganakayo Duryodhanaga Bhoganayo Rukko Sagvi Durgarkayo Aise Prema Pujari Aise Prema Pujari Jai Madhava Madana Murari Jai Keshava Kalimala Hari Oh Radhe Shyam Shama Shyam Radhe Shyam Jai Shama Shyam Oh Radhe Shyam Shama Shyam Radhe Shyam Jai Shama Shyam Jai Madhava Madana Murari Jai Keshava Kalimala Hari Jai Madhava Madana Murari Jai Keshava Kalimala Hari Jai Jai Sri Radhe Shyam. Sometimes devotees ask, why do you do like that? There's actually Shastra Praman. Because if we want to get something from a deep place, we need a hook. Just like sometimes on Braj Prikama, what to speak of a well, what to speak of a hand pump, there's not running water, what to speak of running water, there's not even a hand pump. What is there? Well. So you guys all know this modern technology, Bluetooth and iPod, iPhone 15 and all this type of stuff. But you don't know village technology. What's so complicated? You take a bucket, you tie a rope, you throw it in the well. So especially our foreign devotees, they do like that. They tie the rope around the bucket and they throw it in the well, and zit, 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 the rope is going through the hand. Ah! That's not how you do it. You don't know the village technology. You have to grab there's a big knot at the end of the rope, and you throw the bucket and boom, like that. Then you pull it up. So now bucket, rope, everything going in the well. So we have to give 200 rupees to the ashram to buy a new bucket and rope. No, every ashram, this happens often, so every ashram has a rope with so many hooks on it. So they send that rope down, they hook the handle of that bucket and they pull it out. So to get something from a deep place, we need a hook. So this body is just like a deep well. But it's not filled with water, it's filled with pap, sin. So this Ra-Akshar, he's shaped just like a hook, or especially this R in English, and he's just like a hook. And according to Sangeet Shastra, when you say this sound, Ra, then you can feel it, it goes down. So we send that Ra down to hook all of that pap. Then the next syllable is aspirated, meaning coming out. Radhe. So according to Sangeet Shastra, this sound goes up. You can feel it, huh? Then Sham. When we say this Ma-Akshar, this mouth becomes closed. You hook all that pap, pull it all out, and band. Don't let it come back. Don't let it come back. Jai Jai Sri Radhe. Out, 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 out. Sham. Don't let it come back. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanati Brandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manubhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svaparandikam Aradanas Nandantai Vridam Yache Puna Puna Śrīmad Rupa Padambujo Dulisyam Janma Janmani. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatrubhyascha Vipasindhu Vevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. So yesterday we went to Madan Mohan and Asasaki Mandir. We went to both new and old Madan Mohan Mandir. Actually, Madan Mohan, we forgot one pastime. There's one time there was one fellow who lived in a nearby village. And he was very, 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 very poor. So he began to pray, especially to Lord Shiva. And finally, his prayers were so sincere, Lord Shiva appeared before him. And he just prayed that, please, I'm so poor. What to speak of sabji and dal? What to speak of pots and pans? I don't even have the sabji and dal to cook in them. Please give me something that I will never be in want again. So Lord Shiva said, you want the most valuable thing? Oh, well, yes. Huh? If you want the most valuable thing, then you go to Vrindavan and you find out that Sanatana Goswami on top of that hill known as Dvadasa and he will give you the most valuable thing. So he paid his pranams again and again to Lord Shiva, and he had set off for Vrindavan. So finally he found on top of Dvadasa Dittatila, this Sanatana Goswami was there doing his bhajan. He fell at his feet. Oh, Gosaiji, I'm very poor. I worship Lord Shiva. He told me that you would give me the most valuable thing. So Sanatana Goswami said, would you like a touchstone? He said, what's a touchstone? He said, whatever iron you touch it to will become gold. Really? Yeah, I have one over there in the trash there. So he went over and he dug through the trash and he found this very beautiful stone and he touched it to something iron. Bing! It turned into gold. Gold! You know, he touched some other piece of iron. Gold! He began running through the village, just touching every iron and turning it to gold. And finally, one villager said, what are you doing? He says, Sanatana Goswami gave me the most valuable thing. I have this touchstone. Whatever iron I touch it to becomes gold. I become rich. I will never be in want again. Well, does he have another one? I don't know. He was keeping it in the trash and I found it there. He was keeping it in the trash. This is the most valuable thing he was keeping in the trash? He must have something else. So he went back and he said, Gosaiji, you must have something else. The touchstone doesn't work? It turns iron into gold? But Lord Shiva promised that you would give him the most valuable thing. So Sanatana Goswami said, you want the most valuable thing? Then throw that touchstone in Jamuna. You want the most valuable thing? And throw that touchstone in Jamuna. Now sit down here with me and chant. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the most valuable thing. So last we were at Banki Bihari. So from Banki Bihari we go down through the Banki Bihari Bazaar and there's a turnoff to the Atkamba Bazaar. And right in the corner there's a very black Dauji Didi, just tiny little, like a little storefront there. One old lady is there worshipping him. So we see this little Dauji temple and pay our respects because in Braj, nobody calls Balaram Balaram because he's the older brother. In Braj, we say Dao. So he's Dauji Maharaj. Bolo Sri Dauji Maharaj ki. So then we pay our respects and we go through this bazaar known as Atkamba Bazaar. Because there's one building there. It has 8 pillars, 4 on this side and 4 on that side. So the whole bazaar became known as Atkamba Bazaar. And as we're going along, we see this little entranceway. And you go in that little entranceway on the right. There's a big wall on your right side, and all of a sudden there's a little entranceway. And we go inside, and there's all kinds of monkeys around. And there's a little room, screened off and everything, and there's a lady sitting there, and you put your shoes inside that room so that the monkeys won't get them. So, of course, you have to take off your glasses because long before that, by the time you get to Madan Mohan, that's already monkey danger zone. They come and just sit on your shoulder, grab your glasses, and off, you know. And then some little Brishvasi boy will come with a fruity, Now they become, because they become very particular. Usually with just some chana or something, some chickpeas, but now they want fruity. They won't give him back unless you give fruity. Then they'll throw your glasses down. So here we keep our shoes inside the door there, and this place is known as Seva Kunj. And one time Prabhupada was walking with the devotees. He put his hand inside the doorway. He touched the Braj Raj, the dhul, the Braj dust, put it on his head. He said, I'm not qualified to enter here. So we can just imagine what a sacred place this is. Because once you get outside of all the main commercial places like Nandagam, Barsana, Govardhan, or Radhakund, the mood is seva. Seva means service. Just like all the original Brijbasis, they have very beautiful names, just like Yashoda. Yash Deniwala. Yash means fame. Yash Deniwala. Or Radharani's mother, Kirtida. Who gives kirti? Who gives glory? Shall we do kirtan, chanting the glories? Kirtida. And Brisabhanu's mother is Sukura, giving happiness. So all the original Brijbasis, they're sab dene wala. Ab ye sab dene wala chala gaye, only lene wala reh gaye. Now those givers have gone away, only takers are left. But once you get outside of, Vrindavan or Nandagam or Sana, then you find the mood of Braj is giving. We go on Prikrama, and sometimes there's not even a paved road in the village. They have nothing. And we say, Radhisha Madhukari, Radhisha Madhukari, Hari Bol Roti Do. And they're ready to give us roti. They'll give you, that is the mood. Just like one time, we were in Braj Prikrama, and somehow it was Ekadasi, and somehow the authorities of the Prikrama, they decided that we were going to fast, since it was Ekadasi. So we won't have any breakfast. So, and I thought this is not a good idea, because I knew the breakfast spot is very far away. So along the way, I begged some Brijbasis for some chach. Chach is, we take the yogurt, and churn it into butter. What's left over, that's the real buttermilk. Chach. Everybody gives it away. Unfortunately, they didn't have any chach. So somebody had begged for them. A foreign sadhu had come, he begged from them. We couldn't fulfill his desire. They felt embarrassed. So they brought some fresh yogurt. I said, no, Maharaj, you take. So they gave us this nice fresh yogurt. Our belly was feeling so happy. Nice fresh yogurt. And by the time we caught up to the Prikrama party, I caught up to the Prikrama party, and they were going along, and then, so I knew that this is old days when like 80-90% of the Prikrama was just foreigners. So I knew they didn't know how to do Madhukari. So I saw one villager along the way, and I said, do you have any... oh, what happened? Now I remember what happened. Was that night when we got to the camp, they gave everybody, they made a big feast with all types of, fried chips and fried little things, all types of fried things, with kutu atta, they made pakoras and fried chips and fried this, and they bought some rubbery from the market, and everybody blamed it on the rubbery. Anyway, that night, everybody was so sick. It's a long story, but somehow I missed going there, so I missed it. And so anyway, the next morning when I met them, they wrote, "Oh, you were the lucky one, Baba, you missed it." Everybody was so sick, they were constantly running across the road, and some were, passing stools, some were vomiting, some were doing both, out of both ends at once. Some devotee just fell on the asphalt and conked out, and they had to take him to the hospital, and he said, "Baba, you missed it. You were lucky." So then I realized the breakfast stop was a long ways away. So they fasted all day, all morning, then whatever they ate, it came out one end or the other or both, and now they were going to walk again without eating anything till we get to the breakfast spot. So I saw some villager, so I asked him, "And you have some roti?" And he said, "Wait, Maharaj," and he ran into the village, and the Prikam party left. So he came back with some nice hot rotis. So my little friend was there, Om Tat Sat. So I pushed him in Om Tat's shoulder bag. And that Brijbhai said, no, you take them. I said, "Not for me, this is my friends." He said, "You don't worry about your friends, you sit down and take." And he grabbed those rotis, and he took me to this little nearby temple. He told the Maharaj to give us something to eat. And with these nice, rotis with, homemade butter on them and everything, and we got saag and everything, and I was eating, I was feeling so guilty. I had eaten something, but they hadn't had anything. And so after I finished, then I ran ahead and I ran into some village. You see a bunch of foreigners, they're up in the next village. So it was a tiny little village, not even a paved road, not even electricity. And I got there, and that Brijbasi had run ahead of me. Here comes 150 foreigners walking down this dirt road, and they got to the next village, and they stopped them. And from every corner of the village, the ladies were coming with big stacks of rotis. They didn't have anything. They don't even electricity, nothing, And here's all these rich foreigners, and they're bringing big stacks of rotis and filling our lotus with chach, and as soon as we would drink it, by the time you put it, somebody else, another lady would come running with a big stack of rotis, and there was 150 foreigners doing Madhukari in the middle of this tiny little village, Tarapur. I still remember Tarapur. So that's the real mood of Braja Seva. And in Seva Kunj, people try to tell you this is where the rasa dance took place. But everything inside the Prikama Marg is where rasa dance was taking place. Here is where even Krishna was doing seva. Because Radharani was tired, so he began to massage the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika. Even Krishna is doing seva in this Seva Kunj. And there you see, the original Braj forest. You see all these trees. Just like here I see all your gum trees and eucalyptus trees growing straight like this, but in Braj, they try to grow straight, but they're melting in Krishna Prem. They come down like this. And sometimes we see some trees just leaning on their shoulder, leaning on their elbow, meditating on Radha Krishna's pastimes, all like that. So you see this beautiful forest there in Seva Kunj. And then we come to a little tiny temple there. Unfortunately, they never let us take pictures. And they have a beautiful picture of you can see Radha and Krishna there, and they have Lita and Vishakha by the sides, and you can see Krishna's blue hands touching the golden lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. So this is Seva Kunj. Then in the middle of Seva Kunj there's a well. Well, there's a kund that's actually very, very deep, because this is an ancient place. So you've seen that whenever, the old city crumbles down, they build on top of the ruins. Whenever they dig, sometimes some ancient place, and they find all the ruins underneath. So gradually it's gone up and up and up. But that kunda stage, you look, it's way down deep. And this is Lalita Kund. Because the gopis were dancing and dancing, especially Lalita Sakhi, she was thirsty. So Krishna took his flute. His flute is very handy for calling cows, for calling gopis, for digging kunds, for digging wells. So he dug this kund for Lalita Sakhi. Hmm? Hmm? So then we come out of Seva Kunj. Hmm? We go around and come out, and then just down the ways a little bit, you have to know where to turn. We go down and there's Imli Tala. Hmm? Imli means tamarind. And Tala means, in Bengali, means beneath the tamarind tree. Hmm? So at this place, a very special place, and one of Prabhupada's godbrothers, Bhakti Saranga Maharaj, has taken this over. Now his disciples are running. He wrote sometimes for Bhatta Godhead in the old days. So always very friendly there. And in fact, it was just a tiny little broken temple. They had these little deities of Radha Gopinath and Mahaprabhu Radha Gopinath. Then one day I came there, and they were breaking down the temple. And I said, oh no, now what's going to happen? Because sometimes they, in the name of improving something, they make something, make it worse, And I said, oh my God. The next Kartik I came there, and they had this beautiful jewel of a temple, great big temple there with beautiful dioramas and of all of, some of Krishna's pastimes, some Mahaprabhu's pastimes, Mahaprabhu sleeping and the Ras Lila is going on, and him meeting Ramananda Roy on the banks of the Godavari. All these different things are there. And made this beautiful temple and beautiful deities of, they even have beautiful deity of Vrinda Devi holding the Tulsi pot, and they have Mahaprabhu and Radha Gopinath, and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati is there, and Bhakti Saranga Thakur is there, deities. And very nice place. I was really surprised. So, but since I've been in Vrindavan, I watched, that was actually beautiful old Imli tree was there. But I watched it dry up. Prabhupada used to say, this is an actual kalpavriksha. Actually, as far as we're concerned, all the trees in Vrindavan are kalpavrikshas, but Prabhupada said specifically about this one. But I watched it dry up. And one devotee, he got one, because some of the, when it dries up, then there's danger, branches will fall. So they got one part. And from smearing it with oil, and oil so much it's black, and you see these two branches, it's just like Mahaprabhu dancing like this. He's got it in his ashram. So, this old Imli Tala was there. And what happened was, we all know about Krishna disappearing from the Rasa dance. But one time Radharani, she saw so many different classes of devotees were there. The Rishichari gopis, Srutichari gopis, Ayodhyavasini gopis, so many gopis were there. And she got upset and she left the Rasa dance. And Krishna was sitting beneath this tree, right on the bank of the Jamuna, and chanting Radhe, 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 Radhe. His whole blackish body turned golden. Then finally Radharani came there and she saw this golden personality. And she was surprised because her ecstatic love was sprouting just like it does when she sees Krishna. Then she realized that this is Krishna. And she went there and he said, yes, in the Kali Yuga, Agali Yuga, I will take a golden form like yours and distribute love of God by the chanting of the holy names. And Radharani was so surprised. Another story they tell about this Imli tree is at one time, they have dioramas of all these things too. They have Radharani stepped on a ripe Imli fruit and she slipped. And you've seen sometimes, especially in weddings, they put red all around the feet of the ladies. It's called alta. So her alta got smeared. And she became upset. So she cursed that no Imli tree in Braj will ever ripen. And I've seen many Imli trees all over Braj, but they never get ripe. They're always very sour. And we read in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Mahaprabhu used to stay at Akrur Ghat, then he would come to Keshi Ghat, and he would wander on down all the ghats, and he'd come to Imli Tala and sit and chant. And chanting Krishna, 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 Mahaprabhu's body turned completely black. Turned completely black at this place. Then they tell another story that there was, that sometimes one branch of that Imli Tala was coming on the building next door that belonged to some king from somewhere. So he decided to cut it. He hired some people to cut that tree, and all the devotees said, please don't cut this tree, don't cut this tree. And they had the diorama there. All of a sudden, blood started coming out of that tree. And they have the diorama there, blood is falling, and all the devotees were upset. Then the king and his whole family got sick and died. Now they've managed to acquire that property, and they built a very beautiful guest house there. It's a wonderful thing, is the Imli Tala. And one time, as we're talking about Kalpavrikshas, one time, one atheist, he came to Braj, because he'd heard about this Kalpavriksha. Whatever you want, you can get. So he kept asking him, show me this Kalpavriksha. I don't believe in all this. Show me this. This is bogus thing. So way out in the jungle, somebody said, this is Kalpavriksha. So he's a materialist. Naturally, he'll think of something for sense gratification. So he said, how about a big pot of gulab jamuns? Boop! Big pot of gulab jamuns appeared. Oh, how about some rasgullas? Boop! Big pot of rasgullas. How about some puris? Boop! Basket of puris. How about some nice paneer sabji? Boop! Big pot of paneer sabji. How about some samosas? Boop! You're all getting hungry. You won't get till after 9. So after a while, a big feast was there. So he began to eat all this, sweet rice was there, everything, gulab jamun was everything. He began to eat everything. So you know what happens after you eat a big feast, right? So he fell asleep. When he woke up, it was dark out. He was all alone in the jungle. And he looked around. Oh no, maybe a tiger will come and eat me. And the tiger came and ate him. So you have to be very careful under these desire trees of Braj, what you're desiring. Just like one time I was coming back with Loy Bazaar in those old style rickshaws with my daughter. I guess she was like 12 or 13 or something. And we were riding along the rickshaw back from Loy Bazaar, and all of a sudden the wheel fell off. The rickshaw went this way, he jumped that way, my daughter jumped another way, I jumped another way, we all saved ourselves. And then she said, Pita, I was just thinking, what would happen if the wheel fell off? I said, be careful what you think here in Vrindavan. And then they have beautiful deity of Sanatana Goswami sitting under that tree, chanting, and beside, and they have also Mahaprabhu's lotus footprints there, and you're looking out over the Jamuna. Of course, it's a little bit built up now. Jamuna's gone a little ways and they built it, but you can see Jamuna from there. Nice darshan of Jamuna. Actually, from Dwadasa to Titila, you can also look out and see Jamuna coming down. And also from there, you see Jamuna. Then we go back to the back out to the main road, and we go along, and we turn left, and we come to, for us devotees, the most important temple in Vrindavan town, Radha Damodar. Oh my goodness. So, and it's funny, sometimes they let you take pictures, sometimes they won't let you take pictures. But when I first went there, it was pretty desolate place, and not very fixed up. Now it's fixed up very, the temple itself is fixed up very nicely, but behind the temple there's the Samadhi and Bhajan Kutir of Srila Rupa Goswami. And somehow or somebody's acquired, because there's no land to build on, so they've bribed the Goswami something or other, and now they have this huge building on top of everything. It's like walking into a cave, and they have, cement trees and leaves, and somebody may like it, I don't. But it was so sweet, just sitting there. That's where the famous Nectar Devotion lectures took place. And this deity of Radha Damodar, the real one, has gone to Jaipur, like all the other deities. And this is a Pratibhu, non-different deity. Although since the old Goswami has disappeared, now his sons are all telling everybody, writing in their books that that now there's some evidence that Radha Damodar has come back, and this and that and so many things. But they never present what their evidence is, just telling everybody. So somehow for 50 years people were fooled and did not know that Radha Damodar's in Jaipur. So this if you see the real deity of Radha Damodar, he's about this big, he's there in Jaipur. And he was made by the hand of Rupa Goswami and given to his disciple Srila Jiva Goswami, because this is Radha Damodar, Srila Jiva Goswami's temple. And there we have on the side of the courtyard, the rooms of Srila Prabhupada. Very simple. This is always my favorite place to go, and we're doing Prikrama of Vrindavan town. It's so inspiring just to sit in this tiny little room. And just imagine Prabhupada sitting there translating, and he didn't have any money, he didn't have anything. How was he going to go to the West? But he was just praying that somehow he wanted to go to the West. That was his spiritual master's order. So if we follow, we may think it's impossible, but we follow the spiritual master's order, magic things can happen. Somehow, at first, he went to Bombay to get his Bhagavatams printed by Srimati Maharaji, and then he asked her, she had a shipping line, you give me passage. He said, Swami, you're too old and it is too cold. He said, no, it's my spiritual master's order that I go, you must give me. Anyway, she was convinced. So from this place, Radha Damodar Mandir Prabhupada sailed, we just fly around the world, and we can't imagine, even after these, 14-hour flights to get here, we're totally wiped out. But Prabhupada, I don't know how long it took, to sail across. What Prabhupada did, we can't imagine. So on the other side, there's a little veranda. On the other side of the veranda is Prabhupada's kitchen and his a prasadam place. And they have Murti there, and you can see Prabhupada. Right outside the window is the Samadhi Mandir of Rupa Goswami. So he could take his prasadam and look out the window and see Rupa Goswami Samadhi. And also just so inspiring to be there. This tiny little place. But Prabhupada was just meditating how to go to the West to spread this Krishna consciousness. And we go around, there's so many samadhis there. And one little samadhi is there of, first you come in and there's, you turn right and there's a little samadhi there of Jiva Goswami. This is Jiva Goswami's place. And samadhi of Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj is also there. And then there's a nice marble shrine for Pushpa Samadhi of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Actually, I think it was for 30 years, it was always unfinished. But somehow our Achyuta Prabhu, who lives in Alachua now, he was in charge of the Samadhi construction, and somehow he managed to deal with the Goswami in such a nice way, because he fixed up a Samadhi for the Goswami's father, so he let him finish. So ISKCON has finished this Samadhi for Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur there. And then there's so many Samadhis, and there's one Samadhi of Maharaj Birhambir. You may remember Birhambir was the one who had his dacoits, steal all the Goswami books, thinking that it was some treasure. Of course, it was a treasure. So he became disciple of Srinivas. So he and his wife, there's just a little shrine there. You have to know where it is, And then you come out to this courtyard, and there's Rupa Goswami's Bhajan Kutir and Samadhi Mandir. And Samadhi Mandir, those are actually Rupa Goswami's japa beads. When you see him there, he's with his japa beads, or they have the japa beads there on display. And one time I was coming, old days I came, it's probably before I lived in Vrindavan, and there was a little pujari there, and he told me this story. He said just a couple of weeks ago, one gentleman came, not very old, young gentleman came from Calcutta. In those days nobody ever bothered to put locks on anything like that. So the door was open, and he saw these are the japa beads. Rupa Goswami, what will it be like to chant on those beads? So nose around, he took them. When he got back to Calcutta, he got dream. Rupa Goswami said, I haven't eaten for 2 days. How can I eat when I can't chant my japa? He jumped on the next train to Vrindavan, came back and gave those japa beads back. And there's a little place there where they say the Goswamis used to sit and take prasad, and the little place where they used to wash their feet. It's like some devotees always carry little bottles getting braj dust from different places. This is the best place where the Goswamis wash their feet. Very nice dust to take back with you. If you can smuggle it into Australia. And then you see on the altar so many deities. There's the Pratibhabu deity of what is Krishna's Kaviraj? Radha Vrindavan Chandra, Radha Vrindavan Chandra, and then next is, well, of course, in the middle is Radha Damodar and Lalita Sakhi, and then Radha Madhav of Jayadev Goswami. He's also gone off to Jaipur, and then because there's also Samadhi of Bhugarba in that same courtyard outside by Rupa Goswami. So Bhugarba Goswami's deities were named Radha Chal Chicken. So there's these deities of Radha Chal Chicken are there. A very incredible darshan. So after we come out of Radha Damodar, if we go to the left, and we see this big gateway on the left, and the little path, and you go, dirty little path, you go down, there's this big wall on one side, and you come down and go under the building is over the pathway, and you come inside, and then in front of you is Nityanandavat. Nityanandavat is where Lord Nityananda stayed when he was in Vrindavan. And very beautiful deities of Gaur-Nitai there. And there was an old, Vat means, because Nityanandavat, its other name is Shringarvat. Because the trunk is only left, and some Goswami has made, a little shelter, little dome over it to protect it. But underneath that banyan tree, Krishna used to do the Sringar, decorate Radharani's hair. So now they planted another tree growing up in that place, very luxurious tree. And nearby is a little shrine with a painting of Krishna decorating Radharani's hair, putting flowers in her hair. Very beautiful little painting there. You can, sometimes the Goswami let you go up and take close darshan. And then behind that, there's a big oblong, or I should say rectangular, depression, and there's just dust. Because one of the Goswamis, he got a dream one night that you should make a temple to the dust of Braj. Because this Raj, Krishna walked all over this Braj with his bare feet. He wouldn't go with his shoes. Therefore, Sanatana Goswami said this Braj is so more auspicious than Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha, Lord is wearing slippers, but in Braj he was going barefoot. So he made a whole little temple to Braj Raj, just behind that shrine. So then you come back out, and then we go back up the street and head towards Loy Bazaar. And just before we get to Loy Bazaar, on the right side, there's Radha Shyam Sundar. And you go through this little gateway, and you come inside. Opens up to huge courtyard, and very big platform, very high up. And you go up that platform, and the Goswami's name is Krishna Gopalananda Dev Goswami. And he really strict about taking pictures. Somehow they have a page on Facebook and they're putting up pictures, but nobody else ever allowed, and he's really heavy about it. So, and you see the big deities that you see of Radha Shyam Sundar now, that's of Baladev Vidyabhusan. But down below is the original, on the right side, is the original deities of Radha Shyam Sundar of Shyamananda. Because there was one fellow, he was a disciple of Hridaya Chaitanya, and his name was Dukhi Krishnadas. His name was Krishnadas, but he's always very sad, so everyone called him Dukhi Krishnadas. And he came to Vrindavan and was studying under Jiva Goswami along with Srinivas and our Narottam Das Thakur. And one day, Jiva Goswami gave him the service that you sweep the kunj. So if you're Vrindavan, don't take advantage to be there to do some service. It's simple service sweeping, Sweeping's not a big deal. But this, so much ecstatic service, he was sweeping the kunj, all around Seva Kunj area. And he saw this beautiful nupur, the ankle bell there, ankle bracelet. And it was glowing very specially. And as soon as he touched it, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. So he realized there's something special. So he tied it in a little corner of his kopin and began sweeping. So don't think sweeping is, that's a low type of thing. No, this is in Braj is very special. Any seva you can do in Braj, very special. Just like there was one poor man, and he was seeing how all the rich people were coming, making nice outfits for the deities, making golden crowns for the deities, and golden stick for Krishna to rest his arm. And he was seeing all. So he went to the sadhu and he said, everybody's offering so many nice things. I'm poor. I can't offer anything. So the sadhu said, give me your right hand, I'll give you 5 lakhs. Maharaj! All right, I'll give you 7 lakhs. Maharaj! It's all right, I'll give you 10 lakhs, give me your right hand. Maharaj! He said, you're telling me you don't have anything. For 10 lakhs, you're still not willing to, even 10 lakhs, you're not willing to give me your hand, and you've got 2 of them. You go to the temple and sweep the floor. So everybody can do something for Krishna. So he put this little ankle bell away, and then Radharani noticed that her ankle bell was missing, ankle bracelet was missing. So she sent Lalita Sakhi back to the kunjas. And Lalita Sakhi saw this fellow there, and he said, did you find some nupur while you were sweeping? He said, yes. They give it to me. He said, no, it is very valuable. I can only give it to the owner. He said, I'm the most confidential servant of the owner. She's my very dear friend. I'm her most confidential. No, it's very valuable. Only if the owner herself comes personally, I will turn it over. So she went back and told Radharani, it's like this. So then Radharani came there, and he gave Radharani that nupur, and Radharani took the nupur and put it on his forehead like this. And then she took some dust with one of the bells. She took a little bit of dust from her foot, and she put a little bindi. Bindu. And said, you have so much love for my Sham, now your name is Shamananda. And then from her heart she manifested a deity. Said, you take this deity. And so that little deity, that's the original deity, manifested from the heart of Radharani. So then all the other Goswamis saw that he was wearing this funny tilak, because it's like this, and then instead of filled in, this leaf part is open. If you see any Shamananda, any follower of Shamananda, they have tilak like this, with a little bindi. So, and then the word went around that, he's taken reinitiation from Jiva Goswami. He said, what is this reinitiation? This is bogus, So everybody started criticizing it. It's funny tilak, he had this new name, everyone was criticizing. So Jiva Goswami, he kept quiet. So finally, the news reached to Hridaya Chaitanya in Bengal that this Jiva Goswami has broken the Vaishnava etiquette, he's given reinitiation to your Dukhi Krishna Das. So he brought a whole bunch of mahants with him, and they all came there, and he said, where have you got this tilak? Because the Guru gives the tilak. He said, where have you got this tilak? Yeah, Gurudev, it is your mercy. I haven't given this tilak. Where have you got this name? He said, Gurudev, it is your mercy. He said, then he took some sand and he began to try to rub that tilak off of his forehead. And the more he rubbed, the more it began to shine brighter and brighter. And all the Vaishnavas were, And then he explained then Jiva Goswami explained everything that had happened, and everyone bowed down to beg forgiveness from Shamananda, and he became known as Shamananda, and that temple is Radha Shyam Sundar temple. And their pit is Gopi Ballabpur, there's a place called Gopi Ballabpur, not far from was that place on the railway line to Puri? Since COVID, my brain no, not Balasore. There's another, maybe it's not on the line, but it's two cities right next to each other. Not Cuttack. It's closer to. It's probably in Bengal. Anyway, we went to Gopi Ballabpur and saw that temple there, very nice place. And when his elder brother was made the mahant of the whole Shamananda Sampradaya, then he had come to Vrindavan. What was his name? Because Krishna Gopalananda Dev, so he's Keshavananda something, I can't remember, Keshavananda. But I was there when they did the Mahant ceremony. They were all very happy that some foreigner was there. This is the first time in their whole Sampradaya. So I was there when Sri Keshavananda Dev Goswami became the Mahant of whole Sampradaya. So this is Shyam Sundar temple. Just don't dare show your camera there. So then we come out of Shyam Sundar temple, and right across the street there's a little decorated doorway, and nothing doesn't look very significant. But you go in that doorway and you go up these little steps. You go in the doorway and there's all these beautiful cows are there, 2 or 3 cows. You go up these steps and then you see Sawa Man Shalagram. Man means 40 kilos, so he's, I can't imagine how much that is pounds, but this Sawa Man Shalagram is there. So, this huge shalagram. And then they have And now they have his brothers also next door. Well, tell the story. There was one lady in Calcutta, she was worshipping a little tiny shalagram like this. And somehow she was offering sweets, and she happened to, and when she was offering the shalagram, she touched that sweet to the deity. So a little sweet was sticking on the deity. And a little mouse came and bit that sweet and pulled the deity away. They pulled the shalagram away. When she came back, they couldn't find Shalagram Maharaj. And in a dream, he told her, you cannot take care of me properly, I have left, but you dig in the ground underneath the altar, and you will find my brother, my big brother. So they found this huge deity. Shalagram, huge shalagram. And he said, I want to go to Vrindavan. So they were taken to Vrindavan, and right at that spot, her, whatever way they were, they didn't have cars those days, whatever she was, somehow it wouldn't move past that spot. So they established him there. Then there was one sadhu in the Himalayas, he had another one, a little bit smaller, but also very big shalagram like this. A great big one is Savaman. There's another one, Savaman is 40 kilos plus 1/4, so 50 kilos shalagram. And then other one is maybe 1 man. The sadhu was worshipping this very big shalagram, and he told him in dream that you take me to Vrindavan, I want to be with my big brother. Or with my little brother actually, because that one was Baladev. And so you see these two huge shalagrams there. And if you know in Loi Bazaar, there's also entrance from just between the shops. There's a tiny little doorway that goes inside, and you go upstairs and see this beautiful, huge shalagram is there. So anyway, we go back out to the favorite place of pilgrimage of all the devotees, Loi Bazaar. And we have kirtan through the streets of Loi Bazaar, and all the shopkeepers are very happy. And then we come down to the end of Loi Bazaar and turn left, and then we go ahead a little ways. You see this big lotus archway. This is a Shaji Mandir. Because there was one fellow in Lucknow, very wealthy businessman in Lucknow, named, what was his name? But anyway, last name was Shah. So they were disciples of one of the Goswamis from Radharaman Mandir. In fact, they named their deity Chota Radharaman. So they have Radha Chota Radharaman. But they became very renounced. After worshipping their Chota Radharaman, they became very renounced, so they moved to Braj, to Vrindavan. And they built this huge palace. You see this palace, this very beautiful place, and fountains, and everything's made out of marble, and big steps. And then they have these columns made of one solid piece of marble, and twisted like this. The Brishvasis say because the contractor was cheating them like anything, the columns are crooked. But anyway, these big twisted marble columns, huge ones, all one piece of marble, except one you can see cracked, and they have something holding it together. Beautiful place, Shaji Mandir, and you go inside, and they have beautiful, beautiful paintings on the great big paintings, all made with, not with paint, but with inlaid stone. And there's nice little deities of Radharaman, and out behind, beautiful garden. Because they were fabulously wealthy, so they spent all their wealth just worshiping Krishna. Made a beautiful garden, and it comes back, and there's a little fountain, and there's this marble with little, like this. And so the water comes, there's a place where water comes out, it goes over those little marble ripples like that, and makes it very pleasant scene. For Julan Yatra, they bring the deity out there with this rippling water coming down and cooling atmosphere, and they have Julan Yatra there. And there's another room called Vasanti Kamra. And all these old, ancient, blown glass chandeliers are there. all different colors, and now they have artificial lights, but before it was all with candles and everything. All these incredible chandeliers, so beautiful. So one day in the year, well, now they've made it a daily thing. You pay and go in, but that day it's free, and you come inside, and they put Chota Radharaman in the altar, and all these incredible chandeliers are there, and this is one Vasant Panchami day, so it's called the Vasanti room. Beautiful place. And then we come out of there, and we go down, and we little winding corridors, and we come down this little path with a big wall, and you can see the original wall used to go like this. But the monkeys were sitting there in the places like this, and they would just, grab people and grab their glasses, so they filled it all in. It was so beautiful in the old days. They just filled it in. And now last time I saw, they're making even higher. This is Niruban. And actually, before we turn that corner, there's a little, if you know the way, there's a little place to go into Niruban. And that place, they've also preserved the forest of Vraj. And there's a little shrine there where they say Radha and Krishna sleep at night. This is called Niruban. Radha and Krishna sleep at night. It's a very beautiful place. So we'll stop our prikrama there. Tomorrow we'll go see Radharaman. And a few other places. So we'll end with a little kirtan. We've been sitting all this time, so now you can stand up. There's also dancing music. We got a mridanga. Mridanga is ready? Yes. Okay. Par karenge naiya re bajo Krishna kanaiya. Par means to cross. Just like Delhi has expanded to the other side of the Jamuna, they call that Jamuna Par, Delhi Jamuna Par. And Naya means boatman, and our boatman, his boat is singing the names of Krishna Kanaya. So we're going to cross over this ocean of material existence, singing the names of Krishna Kanaya. Par karenge naiya re bajo Krishna kanaiya. Par karenge naiya re bajo Krishna kanaiya. Krishna Kanaiya, Dauji Kabaiya, Krishna Kanaiya, Dauji Kabaiya, Krishna Kanaiya, Dauji Kabaiya. Par karenge naiya re bajo Krishna kanaiya. Par karenge naiya re bajo Krishna kanaiya. पार करेंगे नैया रे बजो कृष्ण कन्हैया कृष्ण कन्हैया दाऊ जी का भैया कृष्ण कन्हैया दाऊ जी का भैया बंसी बजैया बंसी बजैया गैया चरैया गैया चरैया मक्खन चुरैया मक्खन चुरैया गिरी बारुदैया गिरी बारुदैया रास रचैया रास रचैया पार करेंगे नैया रे बजो कृष्ण कन्हैया पार करेंगे नैया रे बजो कृष्ण कन्हैया कृष्ण कन्हैया दाऊ जी का भैया कृष्ण कन्हैया दाऊ जी का भैया बंसरी बजैया बंसरी बजैया गैया चरैया गैया चरैया गिरी बारुदैया गिरी बारुदैया मक्खन चुरैया मक्खन चुरैया रास रचैया रास रचैया पार करेंगे नैया रे बजो कृष्ण कन्हैया पार करेंगे नैया रे बजो कृष्ण कन्हैया पार करेंगे नैया रे बजो कृष्ण कन्हैया बोलो कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की बोलो श्री दाऊ जी महाराज की हरे कृष्ण Jai. So we thank you very much. Again, we want to remind you that somehow or other we've managed to get that piece of property underneath the tree where Prabhupada was born, that jackfruit tree. And we want to get more land. It's all slum, but you can see in the video that behind all high-rise buildings, so developers are after that land. So if we don't get that land, we can't build a proper memorial for Srila Prabhupada, because we found one Bengali letter written to my godbrother Sankarshan, who was actually Prabhupada's nephew, that you secure that land and you build a suitable memorial. So somehow or other in Sydney, we have managed to get pledges for like 100,000 UAD, but we still need about 150 UAD, 150,000 UAD. What did I say? Oh, yeah. I'm thinking. I'm thinking of Dubai. So you can contact us. We have an account in Sydney, here in Australia, where you can send your money. We'll take the trouble of sending it all through the account in Calcutta, so that we can build up Sasuru. Because we don't act soon, all the developers, he's fighting with, against all the developers. So we want to build a nice memorial for our Srila Prabhupada, who has given us everything. So we can share something with Srila Prabhupada to build a nice memorial there. And we also have our 2 books, Braj Lila Part 1 and Part 2. Hopefully they'll come any day now. We're still waiting. But if they don't come anyway, somehow we have on Amazon Australia, we have them available, along with another book that I published, which was Madhurya Kanambani of Visvanath Chakravarti Thakur. So, Hare Krishna, thank you very much.